But why? Why? And who? Who was it? It's like the guy we said, who discovered how to milk a cow, and what did he think he was doing at the time? Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. On this occasion, we're talking about probably one of the, no, I won't say worst mistakes I've ever made, but in hindsight, I mean, everything, as we all know, everything is clear in hindsight, 2020 and all that kind of stuff. This is a cappuccino, hot. I came here just under 12 years ago now, and of course it was a dream to come to live in Thailand. But you see, at that time I threw caution to the wind when it came to visas and stuff like that, because as far as I was concerned, I was going to do everything I possibly could to secure my tenure here in some way or some form, which I have done. But in order to facilitate that, I have to have funds that are stagnant in a bank to the tune of $12,000, as you all know, or if you don't know, when you're on an O visa, there's no such thing as a marriage visa, there's no such thing as a retirement visa. They're just aspects of the O visa. And the marriage aspect of the O visa, it means that you have to have $12,000 in the bank at all times. You can never touch it. And an aspect of the retirement, or the retirement aspect of that, you have to have double the amount, $24,000 in the bank. And the thing about it is that even with that facilitates the visa, but you're not entitled to any degree of privilege other than the fact that you stay here. I know people in Ireland that are from all over the world. I talk to them every day as part of my other activity, let's say, online activity. And one of them in particular, a Russian lady who is not a citizen of Ireland, can vote in local elections because she lives there. And if you live in a place and somebody has been given the privilege of representing you at a local level of government, you've got the right to make your choice as to who you'd like to see in that position, regardless of your nationality. But that courtesy is not afforded to people like me and like you living in Thailand. Do you think you'll ever see the day when Farang can have a vote in a local election? Gee whiz. So when I talk about making a mistake coming to Thailand, that's more or less the direction we're going here. If I was to go to Brazil, if I had gone to Brazil or to Argentina, just to mention two, there are a lot more countries in South America that are just like this. But let's say Brazil or Argentina. And this is, I don't quote statistics, but it is a fact, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you have a child with a Brazilian citizen, and the child obviously is born in Brazil, you are the parent of a Brazilian citizen, and you can acquire Brazilian, and it applies to Argentina as well, Brazilian or Argentinian citizenship within weeks, based on the fact that you have a Brazilian citizen as your child. I have a Thai citizen as my child. Do you think it makes a bit of a difference? Absolutely nothing, nada. So if I had gone to Brazil just short of 12 years ago, I'd be a Brazilian citizen by now. I wouldn't have to have $12,000 in the bank to facilitate a visa. I'd be able to vote in not only local elections but general elections. I'd have a real sense of belonging. But you see, I said it before on various videos without repeating myself. Well, I am. Hang on. without repeating myself, that we live on the periphery of society. We're not part of it. You see, the way it is, and this is not a criticism, this is an observation, and it's almost a compliment in some aspects. Thailand is a xenophobic country, without a doubt. There's traffic passing me by here, the taxis that drive by, they're all Thais driving them. You won't find a Brazilian or an Ethiopian or an Afghan driving taxis here. Well, you will in Dublin, because Ireland's an open country. You know, as I said, you can get the vote if you're on a residence, if you have some form of residency without having citizenship. Why is it that so many Farang come to live here? Why? And put up with and tolerate this mountain of bureaucratic stuff, let's say, for the want of a better term. Well, I don't want to use it. I want to use a better term, and I know the better term I have to use, but I don't want to say it. But stuff. We put up with that. And why do you put up with that? You don't put up with that to stay here, and every year you do, and every 90 days you do your 90-day report. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that this is what we put up with. This is what we do. This is what we tolerate to stay here, when you could be in Peru. I didn't mention Peru earlier, but Peru is one of those countries where if you have a child of a Peruvian citizen, you can get a passport within weeks after the birth of your child. So why do we choose? Why is Thailand so ultra popular when you can go to South America and enjoy all the benefits of citizenship that you'll never get here? With the odd, when I say odd exception, you know, I said it before, pigs fly and that kind of stuff. Why do we do it? Who was it that made this place so popular with Farang to come here? Because you know that the only reason we're tolerated here is because we're not a threat to the local population. We can't take their jobs, and in order to stay here we have to pay for ourselves. The governments in Europe pay for the refugees. They pay for the immigrants. They help. They give social welfare. So why? Whose idea was it? Who was the one that decided that this was a great place to come when you have to pay through the nose to live here? And you're on a knife edge. Well, not really on a knife, but you are on a knife edge. You have to apply for a visa every year, even though you're married to a Thai and you have a Thai child, if that's the case. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not criticising the Thais for this. It's a critique at us. Why have I chosen to take the rough road? Now, by the way, I don't regret having myself. Obviously not. That's not what we're saying. That's not what I'm saying. Do I regret getting married? Well, that's for another video. But I don't regret having my son. But I do regret not looking at the bigger picture. And by the way, the big picture El Panorama is my other channel. You should look at that big picture. But apart from that, I do regret not looking at the bigger picture. I could have stayed in Europe. I could have gone to Greece. I could have gone to the south of Italy. I don't need a passport because I'm an EU citizen. I can live and work without presenting myself to the authorities for the rest of my life if I go to the south of Spain. Well, when I say present yourself to your authorities, I think you have to get residency, but you don't. You can stay there. There's no requirement for visas or any of that baloney. Hablo español un poquito, and you know, we're talking about learning languages. If you go to South America or you go to any part of Europe, French, if you're an English speaker, we share 44% of our vocabulary with French, believe it or not. 44% of the vocabulary is shared between English and French, is common. Spanish, as I said, una cabeza por favor, cuánto le costa, como estas, usted, whatever the hell. But it's easy, it's relatively easy to learn another European language because it's Latin. We use the Latin alphabet. Coming here and trying to learn Thai is always going to be more problematic. Coming here and doing your 90-day report is always going to be a pain in the ass. And coming here and doing your annual visa application is always going to be a necessary evil. But why? Why? And who? Who was it? It's like the guy we said, who discovered how to milk a cow, and what did he think he was doing at the time? Who decided that this was a good place to come? It's a wonderful place to live. I love living here, but it's like being addicted to a narcotic. I won't say any particular excuse me. I won't say any particular names of narcotics. I want this video to be monetized. But it's like being addicted to a substance. You don't want to be addicted, but you like the rush. I don't want to be addicted to Thailand, but I am. And there's nothing I can do about it now. There really isn't. Unless I go cold turkey and move to Turkey. Although Turkey wouldn't be high, I know it's a wonderful country. It wouldn't be high on my list, just out of personal preference. If I was to move to Europe, it'd be the south of France, south of Spain, south of Italy, south of Greece, the Greek islands, Cyprus. They're all part of the European Union, so it doesn't matter. So look, I just pose this question. Why the hell, or who the hell decided that Thailand was a good place to move to? And why did we all follow like a flock of sheep? Southeast Asia, when it's one of the most... The people are hospitable. The tourism industry is hospitable, obviously. I'm talking about, it's one of the most inhospitable places to come in terms of bureaucracy when it comes to getting securing your tenure here. So there you go. I don't understand it. At this stage, after almost 12 years, I'm beginning to think, God, I wish I had gone to Brazil. And you might talk about the safety aspect. I know a lot of Brazilians. As I said, in my other role, I deal with Brazilian people all the time. I speak to them every other day. It's not as bad as you may think, and you can live a good life there, and you can be a citizen. So you see, I'm fed up. I'm fed up not being on the periphery of society here, and being at the behest of your spouse because you're on a visa that she can determine whether you stay or not, depending on the fact whether she divorces you or not. Because if your spouse, and I said it before, if your spouse decides to divorce you on your old visa, marriage part of that old visa, you've got 7 days to leave the country. Imagine that. That's what I'm talking about, living on a knife edge. I don't know. I don't know how you feel. But my advice to you, if you haven't come here yet, and you have a hankering to come to Thailand or come to Southeast Asia, just bear that in mind about the visa stuff, and have a look at the bigger picture. South America is so much easier to integrate into and become a citizen of, because here you will never integrate, and you will never be a citizen, apart from the odd exception, and I don't know how they do it, but there you go. So guys, I hope... I didn't even drink this. Not that I want to. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you click the like button, the share button, subscribe button, do all those wonderful things. And I'll bring you back another wonderful video very soon. Thanks for joining me.